Okay, so homework, all homework will shut off on the last day of class. Let's just go ahead and do that too while we're at it. I usually do open up everything for catch up. Yep. All the tests? Homework. No, I'll just pick one out and just open it up. All homework will terminate on April 26th at 11:59 p.m. Everybody got that? That means if you go on, no, let's talk about this. If you go online and you automatically see, let's say you go online the last week of class, and you go online and you see that everything is open until the last day of class, are you going to call me and say, Hubert, everything is open on the last day of class? Does that mean I can take my Unit 3 test? What am I going to do?
Hang up.
I'm going to hang up. That's like calling your teacher and saying, you gave me an extra 25 points on this test. I don't think that's right. You need to take them off. Are you going to do that? Are you going to go to your teacher and say, I think you need to take these 25 points off. You may have miscalculated. Instead of a 95, I think it needs to be a 75. You going to do that? Anybody going to do that?
I might.
Okay. Yeah, you were asking if you need to bring a booklet. Anyway, for a 5-question test. It's all right. I know who your kinfolk is. All right. So you're going to call me. Everything is opened up. You can go in and you missed the Unit 1 test. You can go in and take it. You're going to call me and ask me if you can do that. Or are you just going to do it? Which one are you going to do? What? Oh, yeah, that's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. Okay, so if you see all of everything opened up for a week, take advantage of it. Okay? Last day of class, the final exam will open along with the last test. The last test will consist of whatever is covered up to the last day of class. So if I cover 2 sections, that's all you're responsible for. If I cover 6 sections, that's all you're responsible for. Up until the last day of class.
What, on that website, you know, it's bad about grading things wrong.
Just see me after class. I got your email. We'll see. Okay. We'll take care of it. Final exam and last test will terminate on May 2nd. Now the reason that is because I have to turn in grades like on May 3rd or right at the end of finals, right at like lunchtime, because my department head is, making sure everything gets in. So I turn back the final exams. I turn back till the day before. So, and y'all will come in the next day and take the final. Okay? Any questions? All righty. That's that. Now, what's going to happen during the week of finals? That's when I go in and put in your bonuses and do all that. So you're going to see your grade go up a little bit. I'll probably put a bonus in. Your bonus in is a test grade, or a quiz grade. And the quiz, I think I'll make the quiz 5 percentage points of your test grades, and I'll make the test grade 105%. So that way, if I make the test weight 105% and make the quiz 5% of that, that way the quiz doesn't what? The bonus doesn't what? It doesn't hurt you if you didn't do it. See what I'm saying? If I set the weight at 100, if I set the grading scale, I mean the weight of your test at 105%, and the quiz is 5% of that, then it doesn't hurt anybody. All it does is help. So I don't want any belly aching or head. Going to the department head saying I took off points for you. Okay? I didn't. All right. So with that being in mind, let's review a little bit over polar coordinates, and then we will probably by the end of class be taking the area under a curve of a polar coordinate or polar coordinate integral, whatever you want to call it. Now, one thing that I like to tell students, and I tell y'all all this, Calc 1 and Calc 2 especially, I just turned the projector off, is people do not, in real life, people do not think in terms of radians, okay? I mean, or pi over 4 or whatever. So one of the first things I tell students in polar coordinates is change everything into a degree so you'll know what you're talking about. Because people don't think in terms of pi over 2, pi over 4, 4 pi over 6. Change it into a degree. All right? Now, with polar coordinates, what you're actually doing is, in algebra, just like in Calc 1, I told my Calc 1 students that you have two subjects. You have algebra, and then you have limits. And you put those two together, and you get calculus. So everything in Calc 1 and Calc 2, you go back to algebra, and you build from algebra all the way up. Because this is just a cloud of thinking out of the box. Okay? It's not really a class, it's not really a course, it's just thinking out of the box. So you add that to the concept that we reviewed, and then you get your calculus. So we're going to kind of review over a little bit of algebra today. And of course, everybody knows that the rectangular coordinate system is based on x and y. This is called your Cartesian or your rectangular coordinate system. And if I take my rectangular coordinate system and I give you a point,
you have a work email.
Then that point is a location point. So let's say I put a point right about here. Well, your elementary mind, elementary bringing up, said that, okay, well, we're going to go in an x direction, and we're going to go in a y direction, and that will give us our point. And that was good and fine and dandy. But now, we don't want you to think like that. Now we want you to change it into a okay, we're going to go through this again. We're going to go through and take that out, and we're going to change it basically to a bearing and a distance. We're not supposed to say bearing because bearing will screw you up. So we call it a what? An angle and a distance.
Priority 1
And you
message
take
coming
this
in on
zero,
secure channel.
draw your arrow right there, and now we have what?
Priority 1
An
message
angle?
coming in on priority 1 message coming in on secured channel.
Really? Angle and a distance. And that's polar coordinates. Now you'd be surprised on how many people can screw this up as far as explaining it to you. But it is, that's all it is. Angle and the distance. Now, most of the time, the book's going to give you this in terms of pi. First thing I'm going to tell you to do is change it into an angle. All right? Now, we still have our x and y, and everything is based on x and y. But when you want to go from polar to rectangular or rectangular to polar, we can go x is equal to r cosine theta. Y is equal to r sine theta. An easy way to remember this, think of a stop sign. Stop sign has a vertical what? Post. So the y is always equal to the sine. Remember that. I don't know how many of you have seen this before. I don't know how many of you remember it. So I'm just starting from the beginning. X squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. Pythagorean theorem. And y over x is equal to the tan of theta. Now basically this little group of formulas is what you need to be able to work with the polar coordinate system. So we're just going to go over a few problems and just see if you can navigate around the polar coordinate system. So if I give you 1 and pi over 2, first thing you're going to do is say, I have no idea what that is. So you're going to say 1 over, or 1 comma, pi over 2 times 180 over pi. Pi's cancel, and you get what? 1 and 90 degrees. So that means you're going to take, you're going to start from here because this is 0, and you're going to go 90 degrees. There's your theta. And then you're going to take your red marker, and you're going to go 1 unit up. And there's your point. Now what if I gave you 3, comma, pi over 4? Well, first of all, you're going to change pi over 4 because unless you actually memorize those two things, which nobody does, pi over 4, well, some of y'all do. Pi over 4 is what, 45? Because you take 180 divided by 4 because pi's cancel. 180 divided by 4 is what, 45? Mm-hmm. So that's 3 comma 45 degrees. So that means you're going to take blue marker and you're going to go 45 degrees, and we'll just give it some kind of 1, 2, 3, give it some kind of, there's that point. The R is 3, so it would be a little bit over 3. Now, what if I give you one that says negative 2 pi over 4? Well, negative 2 pi over 4 is negative 2 comma 45. So here's your 45. That 45 degree angle continues, does it not? I wish this thing would draw a dotted line. It needs some training. There. So there's the 45 degree angle, but the reason I drew it in green is because what does negative tell us in math? Direction. because it's going the opposite way. So the -2 now is right here. A little bit shorter than the 3. Now, of course, a hypotenuse could not be negative, but the negative here is not telling you that -2 is the hypotenuse. The negative here, as with all science and math, is telling you what? Direction. You have to quit. It's telling you direction. So there's a little bit of polar coordinates. Now, I remember when I was first taught polar coordinates, and I remember I had no clue what they were talking about. They showed me this globe, or they tried to put a globe in a 2-dimensional picture, and they tried, remember the circles, and then they tried to draw, and I was lobotomized. I had no idea what they were talking about. And I've been surveying since I was 8 years old. If they had just told me that they were turning an angle and going a distance, then I would have caught it just like that. But that's what you're doing. You're turning an angle and you're going a distance. In a horizontal plane or a what? A vertical plane. Doesn't matter. And that's what you're doing. It's all you're doing. Angle and a distance. Instead of a distance and a distance, you got an angle and a distance. Capiche? All right. The next one we're going to do. I want you to plot. I better do this in black. It might not show up. Black. Plot and convert to rectangular. This is the way they're going to write 2 square root of 2, comma, 3 pi over 4. Now the first thing I'm going to tell you to do is change this to real world. This is academic. Change it to real world. How many of you have gone 2 and square root of 2 miles on the highway? Change that to a decimal and change this to an angle that you'd see in the real world. And you don't need a calculator because what's square root of 2? And what's 2 times 1.4? 2.8. Okay? Are we doing microsurgery or are we plotting a point on a graph? Okay, we're plotting a point on a graph. 2.8 is fine. So, throw out the academic and bring in the real world. You get 2.8, comma what? 135 degrees. Now, how hard is that? Plot that point. And then I want you to change it into X and Y coordinates. And I bet you $1 you're going to go, oh, this is simple. Please be quiet. Did you not hear what I said?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you in my seats.
You got the aluminum hat on under that.
No. Gotta make sure the government doesn't hear my thoughts.
The government. Hillary says that she is going to form an immigration control agency.
Do what? Oh, we already have one? Yeah. It doesn't sound like a terrible idea.
More government.
I thought it was called the Border Patrol.
I thought it was called the Immigration Office.
That was called a law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, those two. Now I love to watch Bernie. I love to watch Bernie. I think he's funny. Always pointing like this. He's always hollering like he's in a dead zone with his phone. He's always hollering, and he's always. And I have decided that I love two impressions. When the comedians do impressions, Donald Trump and Arnold Schwarzenegger. I love it when they. I can't do the way they do Arnold, but I love it when Jimmy Fallon does Arnold and Donald Trump. That's just so funny. Okay, I'll shut up.
How do we specify by notation if one is, because the notation with the parentheses and the comma looks the same for both of them. How do we specify if one is polar?
Well, usually, the directions. The directions are going to say polar, and usually the distance is first and theta is second. If you look in your book, it'll say R and then theta. That's the way. I just didn't do that. I'm sorry, but yeah, it'll say that. It'll say in the following coordinate R comma theta. Change to rectangular or something, or it'll say change from polar coordinates to rectangular, and then they'll give you 2.8, and then of course they're going to give you the first part, and when you see that 3 pi over 4, that's polar. So if you do this, it makes things a whole lot more manageable as far as thought. At least for me. I don't know. Some of y'all might think in terms of this all the time. You won't have to change. I'll tell you that right now. Where is 135? First, second, third, fourth quadrant. Second. So angle 90, angle 135 be a 45-degree angle. There it is. And 2.8 is right there. So all they want you to do is find this X and find this Y. So we got to use R sine theta, R cosine theta. So now you get your calculators out. X is equal to 2 square root of 2 cosine 135. And Y is equal to 2 square root of 2 sine theta. And what do y'all get? Negative 2 and 2. That's your X and Y.
Oh, so I did this in math 111.
Probably did, yeah. We're going over all that. Unless you want me to just jump right into the integration. All right, this is rectangular. And I want you to go to what? Polar. Yeah, we are going over a little bit of algebra and trig, yeah. You know, we could stay here or we could move on to calculus. Some of y'all want to stay here.
Do you know any of the professors, or I should say teachers at A110?
Yeah, but the only teachers I know, she's like vice president now. That's the only one I know. It's a good school though.
Would you advise taking UPQ and calculator at the same time?
You could. It's manageable. It's kind of like taking a college algebra and math 120 together. I mean, they have some things that are similar. I mean, you feed off of the same stuff, but it's manageable. You can take it. I wouldn't take anything else.
Where's Piedmont Tech, yeah.
Down in Greenwood.
Now, where's that at?
Down on those south of Anderson. South of Anderson and Greenville.
Anderson, Abbeville, Greenwood, yeah. It's like a 13-minute drive.
Go through the Belt Honey Path.
Yeah.
Go from middle of nowhere to middle of nowhere, to middle of nowhere, then you get Greenwood. Yeah, you're still in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're right next to Abbeville.
It's about the same size as Pickens.
I got Austin down in California.
Well, don't worry. It happens to the best of us.
Well.
What?
Listen. Me and a buddy of mine-
There's always a story.
I was about to say, let me explain.
Yeah, let me explain. 45 minutes later.
And that fellow was down yonder at the cookout, you know where it's at, you know?
Yeah, there.
And he drank a half a bottle of wild turkey. And then from there.
Well, we both got something to eat. I said, well, let's go down yonder. Let's check them out, see what they got down there. And I was going down there, you know, because I'm hoping between me and you transferring there next, you know, semester, you know. And, son, it wasn't 2 minutes we got down there, I got turned around, I said, I don't know where in the world we're at, we had to go to that point.
And he was drunk, he had a half a bottle and he wasn't no help.
Oh, well, we don't drink no alcohol.
I'm kidding.
Would that be the fourth quadrant since it's a positive one?
It's supposed to be negative, sorry.
Is it illegal to put the degrees in negative?
Where's the degrees?
Like for the polar plate after we.
No, we did one a while ago.
Okay.
Or we were supposed to. You can put a negative. That means it's going. See, in the real world, when you in engineering, this is the way you turn your angles.
Yeah.
You turn it this way because you go in, and the coordinates are 1 northwest, northeast, 2 southeast, 3 southwest, northwest. Can you be quiet? You act like you never heard the song before. I don't know who that is. What? What? I need to see who that was. Texted me like 8 times.
Who are you talking to?
What?
Exactly.
Are you all right?
So you telling me that that's the way they normally do it right there?
Yeah,
That's the way in the real world, yeah.
that makes
Why don't we learn anything from the bachelor's?
Because you're in academia. You ever seen Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield? Do y'all watch movies at all?
No, because we're busy and we don't have a lot of time like you do.
Oh,
We
okay.
just go to class, eat, and sleep.
Okay. So, 1 plus 3.
Yep.
And that's 4, so the square root of 4 is 2. Or square root of 4 is 2. So we know that that's 2, and now you can just do r sine theta. I mean, go back, tangent, tangent, and find out your theta, and you come up with 240 degrees. So x right there, opposite over adjacent. So that's going to be tangent theta is equal to negative, well, negative over negative turns out to be positive, square root of 3, and then take the inverse tangent, you should get theta is equal to 240 degrees.
Is that x over y equals tangent?
Y over x.
Y over x.
That's inverse tangent.
What?
Inverse tangent, right?
Yeah. Well, divide by tangent. When you divide by tangent, that's the inverse tangent. So is it coming back to you? Knocking the cobwebs loose?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. Now let's talk about just equations. Change this. R is equal to 3 cosine theta. Change that into a rectangular equation.
That's all we get.
What?
That's all we get.
Yeah, change it into a rectangular equation.
I'll be honest with you, it's the first time I've ever learned this.
That's why I start from the beginning.
I've been seeing this since high school, I guess.
That's why I go over it.
I'm confused as to what you want.
Huh?
I'm confused as to what you want the answer.
I want you to write, right now it's written as polar. See the R? And theta? I want you to change it into X and Y's.
Oh, in terms of theta.
Mm-hmm. What are you talking about?
Talking about Piedmont Tech.
Oh, you can't take that. That's unheard of. Taking an online count. You can't even take online tests.
So I went to
Over this summer. Have you already enrolled?
not yet, but we'll be.
How do you do that?
You enroll, and then I will teach y'all how to do it for $100 an hour. I'll teach y'all. We'll meet every week, and you give me $100 each class, and we'll get you through it, guaranteed.
Have you already done that?
No, how about we give you like $100 for like a whole summer? You just take the test. You just take the test for us.
Oh yeah.
That's not.
Get fired for what? You know, each one of you give me 10 of you. That's $1,000. Yeah, get fired for $1,000.
Okay, actually, if you do 52 and count 3 for me, I'll give you $2,000.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure everybody.
No.
Everybody.
One, I don't want to have to put myself through taking a test again. And two, I ain't worth getting fired over.
Everybody can be bald.
No.
Alright, so.
Try to buy Donald Trump.
That'd take a lot of money.
Huh?
I said that'd take a lot.
It'd take a lot of money. Plus, I don't think he'd do it. Because he's so anti, whatever you want to call it, being bought.
At that point, it doesn't really matter. It's like 10 million or 12 million.
I really can't see Ted Cruz. Y'all seen Ted Cruz? He is delusional. I have won state after state after state. That translates into I have snaked and sleazied my way into winning 3 states where they still have outhouses. You know. One state had like 11 delegates. We have won state after state after state. and we will bring America back. That's to Morning America. Oh, God, I will not vote for him. I will not vote for him.
Hey, Phil.
All right.
You vote for him over Hillary there.
So what?
So you vote for him over Hillary.
I'll vote for Hillary before I'll vote for him. I will not vote for him. He is a snake. He is a weasel. He is a snake. He is a politician.
So what is Hillary?
That is what. Well, that's true. I won't vote at all. A lion. Well, both of them lie. I think both of them are both liars. I'm not going to vote for either one of them. I think I'll just write in Donald Trump. No. If he doesn't get the nomination, he's going third party, and I'm going to support him. I'm not going to support another lying politician. All right. First of all, I'm going to multiply through by R. I'm giving you hints. Oh, a little light come on. And that will give me R squared is equal to 3R cosine theta. Keep going.
What if you were to square both sides?
What do you mean?
Instead of multiplying through by r, what if you were to square it, so r squared equals 9 cosine squared? That would be the same thing.
Well, that's what. I'm trying to see what you were saying.
Like we said.
Well, that will give you cosine squared. See, what is this?
Oh, okay, because r is 3 cosine.
What is this?
Oh, that's the x.
That's the x. So now you got part of your equation in x. Now finish it. So what's r squared? What? Enunciate and volume, thank you. And your final answer is x squared minus 3x minus 3x plus y squared is equal to 0. You didn't know you had it in you, did you? R squared is equal to -3 secant theta. So what should you do? Why? Because secant is too hard. Right? Does not exist. Mr. Rochester bothering you? If he is, I'll have him escorted out.
Did you know that the math department head's right on professor score is the same as yours? They ain't let that happen.
I don't look at it. I'm scared to look at it.
That's because your picture's on there.
What?
Here's where I got lost. After we
Okay. Well, what is r cosine theta?
X, right?
X. See? Hold on. Let me go back. If I can go back.
Right.
Okay, there's X. R cosine theta is equal to X.
Right.
So this is equal to 3X. And then R squared is equal to what? X plus Y.
All right, thanks.
All right? How many ratings, how many ratings does she have, Miss Rochester? How many ratings does she have?
About a fourth of yours.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, like 200 and some change, and she's got around 51.
That makes a difference. All right, so let's go back. So what do we do first? Quit. Well, we know R squared. We could go this is equal to X squared plus Y squared, but why am I not going to focus on this guy? Because I want to focus on what? That guy. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change 3 secant theta. I'm going to change it into negative 3 over what? Cosine theta. Good. What's the rule in trig? Always change things to what? Sine or what? Cosine. So R squared is equal to negative 3, and I'm just going to write this out because I got some people that'll go, huh? So I'm going to help y'all out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What day is it? R squared is equal to negative 3 over cosine theta.
What's Ansel's first name?
Matthew.
So he's got American first name and then Egyptian last name.
And what?
Egyptian or whatever it is.
All right, now what? Well, you're not really very helpful here, but we at least got it in terms of cosine. I would divide by R, and you'll see why in just a minute. So that's going to give me R is equal to negative 3 over cosine theta times what? Well, this is R over 1, so 1 over what? Oh my gosh, there's R cosine theta. What did I just do? I got rid of what? The cosine. Because now I've got R is equal to what? Negative 3 over X. Thank you. Can't believe you're starting to actually see it.
What did you turn into a
Woman.
girl?
Yeah, turning into a woman.
I didn't want to say anything because everyone.
See why calculus is so important? It's teaching you how to think like a woman. Manipulate. Ha ha ha. That was a joke. Ha ha ha. All right. So, finish it. Because you still got an R in there. R.
You ever heard of Sherry Holland?
Name sounds familiar. But I don't know.
Okay, she is vacant on Rate My Professor. That's scary.
She's vacant.
I mean, she doesn't exist on Rate My Professor.
That means her students don't know about Rate My Professor. It means she doesn't tell them.
She might just be a new.
Or she might be a new instructor from another school. What you might want to do is look her up on the whole Rate My Professor.
Professor goes from school to school. It's not school specific.
Yeah.
It can be school.
You can search by instructor
Yeah, and
and find a Shannon Holland in South Carolina. You might find one that's teaching at Furman, or might find one that's probably her that's teaching in South Carolina. Unless she's moving in from Indiana or somewhere.
She's non-existent.
Okay, well then that is scary. She might be a high school teacher that's teaching part-time for the school.
Just graduated college.
Y'all are really reaching. Let me tell you, that's real out there. Okay, what are we gonna do? Yeah, just change this into y over x or something, right? How about the square root of x squared plus y squared? What's x squared plus y squared? R squared, and what's the square root of r squared? So this is equal to this, right? So we have our r gone, and we have our theta gone. So all we got to do now is simplify a little bit. Looks like we could maybe simplify, get that radical gone somehow. Square what? Square both sides. All right, finish her out. You got about 2 or 3 more steps to finish it. What are y'all talking about? You're supposed to be working on this problem.
We already quit.
So what were you talking about?
Count 3 alone. I'm trying to get
I would suggest doing it if I took my videos for Calc 3, but I didn't have videos for Calc 3. But I think if you could do either one, Calc 3 or DiffyQ online, I would go with the Calc 3. Because Calc 3 doesn't go into many new concepts except for plugging and chugging.
We're not like, we're just trying to, if this proctor, we're trying to get around that. You know what I mean? We don't like being there.
Whatever.
It's a pain. Then you gotta pay the fee and everything.
I don't think it's proper, because I know some guy, he said his buddy took it online, and he knew somebody at Clemson, and we just got him to take all the test for him. At Piedmont Tech. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't hear that. See, now you can't say that too much around Tri-County Tech because they'll jump on that. They're already trying to shut down online testing now.
Hey, that's cool, this is my last semester here.
Oh yeah, screw everybody else, yeah.
Always one.
All right, so what is that going to give us? That's going to give us x squared plus y squared is equal to 9 over x squared. Multiply both sides by x squared. Because we all hate what? Fractions. So that's going to give us x to the 4th plus x squared y squared equals 9. And now bring that over, and that's going to be x to the 4th plus x squared or minus 9 or whatever order you want to put it. Oops.
What is that giving you?
That's giving you the rectangular form of the polar equation. You can plug in x and y now and find out where the points are. or you can solve for y, which would be kind of difficult, but you could actually graph that on you could solve for y. Yeah, solve for y and you could graph it. Or you could find the inverse by changing the x's and y's and solving for y. There was one I actually saw that was pretty cool, and I'll write it down for you. I think it's r is equal to secant tangent. Secant theta, tangent theta.
This is just like some random function, essentially, right?
Yeah, it's just changing from rectangular coordinate to rectangular, just like you did with your points. Now, the reason I'm doing it is just to get you in the mindset of polar coordinates, because I'm fixing to show you how to find the area of a certain, but see, before I'm going to go over one area, because I'm not ready for you to do area homework yet with integration. I'm not ready for you. I got to go over parametric, and I have to go over some more polar graphs before I get into the integration. So I'm kind of building up, just like I did the first unit in Calc 1. For those who remember that, I built you up in trig and I built you up in algebra, and then we hit the derivatives and y'all knew what was going on, if y'all remember that far back. All right? So what is secant and what is tangent? Okay. So, just start this one, because I left it in the office and I don't have it, so this will be your homework tonight. R is equal to, and what's the tangent? Sine over cosine and 1 over cosine, and that's where I'm going to stop with this one and let y'all finish it. So you got 1 over cosine and sine over cosine. I'm going to let y'all finish it. Okay. Now, graphing, I'm just going to go over a couple of graphs, and you also need to do some research on so that's one thing to do for homework. All right. Second thing I want you to do for homework is learn how to graph on your graphing calculator polar graphs. All right. You need to learn how to do. Are y'all fixing to self-combust or something? We got 7 minutes. I'm going to take every minute of that. So y'all might as well just sit down.
So we need to start bringing our calculators.
Probably, yeah. 2, you need to look up on your graphing calculator. Make sure the mode is in polar, I think. Make sure you know how to use your graphing calculator, because I'm not going to spend time doing this by hand, okay? Graphing them by hand. That's just ridiculous.
Is that going to screw me over when I'm doing physics problems on my calculator? Putting it in polar?
You can take it in and out with polar.
I know that, but I just keep it in one.
Okay, well let me just change academia for you, Mr. Rochester. All right. So work on those 2 things. I don't know. You just gonna have to remember. Put your post-it note on your calculator. Okay? Change back.
Now take up the whole screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then you can't see, right? All right. So if I tell you, well, we'll just wait and do graphing when I'll do graphing. Do those 2 things. I'm not going to do graphing in area today. I'm going to wait. We'll do that Thursday. Remember, okay, last day of class is what day? 26. And on the last day of class, all homework will terminate, but look out that last week, you may have all your homework and all your tests opened up. For any of you that need to catch up, retake something, y'all have that open. Final exam will be May the 3rd. You have to come in here and take. It's going to be a terribly difficult exam. Okay?
I'll bring my blue book and everything.
Yeah, bring your bubble sheet and your blue book and all your paraphernalia. You'll probably copy it off the board. The last test will cover anything that I cover from today till May 26th or April 26th. Whatever I cover up until that day. I think that's on a Tuesday if I'm not mistaken, so y'all will meet that last day. Any questions on all that stuff? Okay, let me get the roll called and then y'all can self-combust.